congregation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father which art in heaven, dear Lord God, we continuously thank you, Lord God, for all your many blessings that you bestowed upon the citizens of Dillon. Dear Lord God, we're grateful unto you, Lord God, for all things. Dear Lord God, please continue to bless our mayor, city council, our city manager, our city attorney, and the department heads on tonight as we make decisions for the betterment of all the citizens of Dillon. And in everything we do, we pray be kept to give your name the glory, your name the honor, and your name the praise. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you, Dean. Welcome everybody here this evening. Special guest, Mr. Chairman, glad to have you. County Council, glad to have you. I have a motion to approve the agenda. Make the motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Have a motion to approve the minutes from the June 11th regular scheduled meeting. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Things. When I was looking over the 2-cent hospitality tax fund, I like to do that. I know it's in summer, so that fund kind of spiked some of those months. Right at $49,000, which was good, but that weren't what caught my eye. I think it's the first year we've had a negative in that balance on that 2-cent hospitality fund since we started it. I can't recall having less money on the beginning of the fiscal year than we do ending the fiscal year by about $4,283. I don't ever recall that, but the balance of it is 806, 757. We started with about 811, at 811,000. So you look at why. So y'all have your papers showing the year-end fiscal year, and it was easy to see. The golf course and the wellness center was probably $230,000, $40,000 taken out of the 2-cent hospitality fund to subsidize those two places. If it weren't government, if it's a private business, it wouldn't be too long that a private business would shutter those two things, and rightfully so, in my opinion. But we're here for a different reason and we fund that for a different reason than a private business, not for profit per se, but for quality of life. And Lynn, you did good on the numbers on the golf course. A lot of those met your projections, some didn't, but most of it did. So I think getting a handle on it. The wellness center, I project will continue to run this size deficit simply because we lowered the membership rates going into this year. So it's something we're going to have to get accustomed to on taking that amount of money out of the hospitality fund, I think, going forward, or at least the next 2 years, until we decide on the golf course where we're going, since we signed a 2-year extension. The other thing caught my eye, business licenses were up 5.5%. Always look at that. Court filings were up 87%. Court fines, excuse me. What is the MASC business license payment exactly?
Municipal Association, where they collect business license on our behalf.
So that's up 12.3%, but business licenses are up 5.5%. What's the difference?
Well, that's what they collect, which is what? Insurance businesses.
Okay. All right. Well,
That's premium tax.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's included premium taxes from the insurance. Is that fun? Well, good. Well, both were up. Where down, which was surprising, was construction permits, 25%. And like I say, the wellness center, the revenues are down 28%. Quite understand that, but it is. Y'all might have noticed anything else, but that's what caught my eye as far as the highlights. But overall, we came in kind of close to what the city manager projected last fiscal year going into. Did a pretty good job putting the numbers on is how we ended up. I told y'all last month that we have landed, in my opinion, a big deal with the Dillon Theater, the production of Scrooge. We met today with the crew putting it on, with the theater board and members of the chamber. That is going forward. They have blocked off the dates of the theater. You'll hear more about on it soon. They're going to actually start advertising on this next month. It's going to be 6 showings. I'm the money fundraiser. I asked the city for that. There's $1,000 on it. I talked with Lisa Gray at the county. She's, in fact, the one that turned me on to this was Mr. Barry. They had that in Marion 2 or 3 years ago and sold out every night over there. But she didn't seem to have a problem with that. I got money raised from some other businesses. I've got about $5,000 raised. It's going to be about $7,000 production.
Do you know the dates of the actual?
The first one, I think, is the 28th or 29th of November. And it runs about through the first week of December. Well, Johnny Lewis has that. You might want to give her a call. Let's see. It's the closest thing, and I mentioned this last, it's the closest thing to a New York City show, Broadway show you'll see over here. They completely built the sets up to three levels. It's going to really be a sight to see. They sold out at the Joyner Museum every night. That place holds 700 people in here. About twice what our theater does. So I look forward to it. I do. I've been talking about bringing a production back to Dillon during the Christmas season. I think it's great for our city. They're going to use local talent. They're going to start auditioning next month for local talent first. Some of these kids like that. So they can use kids, adults, young adults, old adults, whatever. Speaking of theater, they have come to me in the last 4 or 5 months. I haven't brought it up. To Lady Carpet, Glenn's met with me. Ms. Langley came to me again with some figures, and I told her we would be open to it if it's something the council would agree on, and the county, of maybe splitting the cost of that evenly between the city, county, and the theater. It weren't much money. That carpet in that theater is just, it's awful. It's been there years, it's dirty, it's stained. We want to have a nice theater and have things to offer for people to come into our community, these new businesses. This is what they want to see. Okay. So we either do something with the theater and make it an asset to our community, or we don't. The guy with the hotel called me last week. They're still on go, on schedule. They're doing some due diligence with the environmental stuff right now, so I was glad to hear that. He actually called me about the grants. He wants to apply for them. I told him how to go about it. He gave him your name. And lastly, I want to talk about chickens. We passed something last month about animals in the city. And one of the things we put on there were chickens, and I've gotten a number of calls from people, and is that what y'all really want to do? I talked to a couple of council members about it too. I don't know if who are we to say somebody can't have a few chickens in their yard? And I think one of the issues was roosters, which I agree. I wouldn't want a rooster in my backyard either, a crow. But I know that you know, because y'all are thinking the same thing, some of you, and I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I'm not a farmer. Benny's there laughing, he does too. You don't need a rooster for a hen to lay eggs. Know that? You didn't know that.
He said it.
Glenn, you know that?
Yep.
You looked at it?
We Googled it the other day, didn't we?
But my only, well, I can say, I just don't have it law on it, and I don't know if y'all do, if somebody wants to have a certain number, 3, 4, 5 chickens that are penned up in the backyard, that, for the eggs, people like fresh eggs. I don't have an issue with that. And I just wanted a little feedback after giving that a little more thought.
Most cities do allow chickens, or a limited number of chickens. You know, our daughter lives in Sumter, and they do allow chickens in the city limits up to, I think, 6 chickens. I don't have an opinion on where to go.
We voted on it, and I looked at the guy from Rice's office, I said, that's what you can't even write this.
We can leave it as is if you want, but there's a few people that like to have.
Who brought it
chickens.
up?
I didn't. I don't
Who
know.
brought that
I
up?
mean, I don't think, I think the whole point of it was the other animals in this, you know, in the city limits. And chickens got thrown in.
As long as you don't have to have a rooster, you'll be fine.
It's not up to me. How do you go about it?
Well, you'd have to bring back an ordinance to
Modify.
to appeal, or to modify, or,
Okay. Then we can vote on it. Let's see.
and then it would go through, you know, have to go through 2 readings.
If council agrees on it, it'll go through. If they don't, it'll stay as is. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I just thought I would bring it up. That's all I have, and I'll end on that.
All right, well, I don't have much tonight, but I will follow up one of the requests made by council, I guess, I can't remember if it's last meeting or meeting before last, and you should have it in your packet, a letter from South Carolina DOT concerning North 8th Avenue between Main Street and Jackson Street, stop sign issues. If you read the letter and the letter that I provided you, they're not going to do anything as far as enlarging stop signs, but they are going to put up other warning devices such as strips on the signs, reflective strips, and maybe an additional sign that says stop sign ahead or something to that nature, and painting lines. And seeing all that, twice last week, going down North 1st Avenue, just past Larry McKenzie's new office. And right there at where the old house that had the restaurant, about hit twice, people going straight through those stop signs. So it happens not only on 8th Avenue, it happens on 1st. And a lot of it is people just not paying attention. But that is the answer back from DOT on 8th Avenue.
Well, this concerns my district, and I want to ask you a question about it. How do we get this information to the citizens that are living close to these intersections? And, you know, because they might not pay attention to the council meeting, but they're the ones who asked me to bring this back to the council to see if we can't get SCDOT to do something.
I can give a copy of the letter
Can we put it in the paper?
to Betsy. You know, that's about the only thing we can do.
I mean, can we
Just to
let
say
them know
that-
they can come and get a copy and see it
Sure,
all?
sure. And you can make copies of people that's called that you may live by, you can give them copies of it also.
Also, it states when it's scheduled, how far in advance.
That I don't know. That's their timeline. Because, you know, at that point in time, it's out of our hands. That's strictly DOT's call.
But if we can, you know, find a way to get the information to them.
We can do that. Betsy, if you don't mind, I'll give you a copy of
I
this.
think you did, I'll check.
Oh, it probably is in your packet, that's correct. Probably is. Beginning this month, the new stormwater fee of $4 and $5 will be implemented on the new water bills that go out. When will they go out?
Probably about 25th.
25th of July. So you'll get a phone call probably, why did my water bill go up? You know, well, there's the new stormwater fee for that. That'll be one of the issues. And then the other is we raise rates in this new coming year in water, sewer, and sanitation. In fact, we got the final reading for water and sewer tonight for their increase of their 5%. One of the biggest issues that we need to tackle, and we talked about it several times in council, I know we talked about it at the last council meeting, what about these condemned buildings, not only residential but commercial property? And one that was discussed last month was on Hampton Street. Benny and I have received one bid, we're waiting on another bid. The first bid that we received is just south of $100,000. Just south.
For which one?
For the building on Hampton Street beside Family Dollar. Now that's just one bid, we're waiting on others. But here's,
Who owns that land?
well, let me get to that real quick. And spoke with Jack this afternoon about it. The property owner is not going to do anything. One, he can't afford it. Two, why should he, I guess? Either going to tear it down and spend the money or bring it back up to code, which possibly could cost just as much. But we know he's not going to do it. So if it's going to be torn down, we're going to end up having to hire somebody to do it. In the past, for residential properties, we work out a payment plan per se. We're never close to $75,000. Heck, I don't even know if we ever get to $10,000. But on those cases, we usually, if they don't pay us like they're supposed to during that period of time that we have an agreement, we'll end up putting that on a lien on their property. Nobody's going to buy that property with a lien of that much on that property. So I asked Jack today, what would be the idea of if we went to these property owners that these buildings are condemned, and we decide whether we want to do this or not. They deed that property over to the city. Whatever the cost is to spend to tear it down, we absorb that cost. They no longer own that property. Then if we ever sell it, we probably will never get back what it cost us to do it. But at least we have some interest there. Is that something you would be interested in doing?
That's all asbestos.
Well, I think, yeah, there's asbestos there because we paid for a study of about $2,400 what the study was to do the
How big's
asbestos.
the building?
I don't know the size. Half a block long and,
50 feet probably.
yeah, and it's probably 25, 30 feet wide. Over the years, I have no idea what it's all been. It's been a liquor store, probably a pool hall, barber shop, you know anything?
That's fine.
What all has been there?
It's everything, tax shop.
And that building's probably 50 plus years old.
Well, let me ask this then. There were some folks talking about buying that building from the owner. I don't know where that went, but I think they said that he couldn't do it because he was right. Because he was already in the process of being, building torn down and everything. So, I don't know how far that went.
Well, I mean, right now, we're at the point, well, if the other bids would have came in Friday, this past Friday, I was going to present those tonight to council for y'all to decide whether or not we were going to do this.
But what if the owner of the property and another entity got it, he just said, well, he would sell it to them.
Well, at this point in time, I mean, it sounds good, but at this point in time, he's so far behind now doing what he was supposed to do.
Right.
You know, we can either drag on and leave it as is or finally take steps to demolish it and start cleaning up.
What I'm asking is there any way that another person could buy it within a certain length of time, to try to buy it, if they didn't sell it, then go ahead and go through the process that we got to go through?
Well, they at least have between now and next council meeting.
Right, that's all.
Because that's when I would come back with bids.
To get an answer, that's all the time he probably need.
But now they would, if he sold it, it'd still be condemned.
That's right.
They did?
Yeah, I mean, it still would be condemned just because.
But could they bring up the code? Would they have time to bring up the code?
Would
Well,
they?
What I'm asking.
You know, what the issue would be, because it's a condemned building,
Right.
they would have to bring the plumbing, electrical, the structure of the building, everything would have to come up to the building code, and that's where it's gonna, your expenses come in. You're looking well over about $100,000 to do that. That's just to get the general contractor's plans and get your general contractor. There's a lot that's involved with that. It's gonna be very expensive.
No, it ain't be if he sold it, they can do what they want with it. I mean, they would still have to do just as he would have to do. So just something to think about, is it, because I mean, we could sit around and not do any, but we need to do it.
You know, this has been an eyesore in the community for a long
It
time.
has.
It runs right up to the railroad track.
That's correct.
It's time to tear it down.
Where's
It's time to do it.
But I think we should, but I just want to see how y'all want, do y'all want to own the property, or do you want to put a lien on the property that we never will be able to do anything?
Because you're never gonna get it.
Well, I tell
Just
you one
take
thing,
the property.
I tell you one thing we need to put a lien on, that Ryan or something.
Well, that's the next one, that's been condemned, that's the next step.
One take one to get the other.
Yeah. That is the next step. So hopefully, the next meeting in August, we'll have all the bids in, and we'll present them, and you'll vote whether or not. In the meantime, we will talk with the property owner here in the next couple of days and say,
Well, at least if we own the property, we have better control of it.
we do.
But really, he had our opportunity to have that building something done up there. I know about 5 years ago, he came back, we gave him time to do it then, and never done it done with it. So,
That
he
is
had our
correct.
opportunity to do something with it.
You know, you talked about the Rounds property for many years with the contamination and everything. I mean, the liens to the bank and everything.
I think those are gone.
They gone now?
Yeah, I believe all those
Cleaned up
liens he had were,
contamination.
yeah, they disappeared, or he paid off, or they expired.
Probably just a 10-year statute. Right?
Yeah, they expired. Which
We actually got DHEC grants to clean up a lot
yeah,
of the
they got most of that out.
Yeah.
So now it's, once again, it's been condemned, and he's not gonna do anything right. So that will be our next step, is to have this kind of idea of,
There's a lot of things to do with that if you got it.
you either tear it down, we tear it down, and if we're gonna tear it down, we want your property. And I hate to do it that way, but if we're gonna use taxpayers' dollars to
We're
spend,
gonna have something.
we'd have to have something in hand, that's correct. That is correct. That's all I have at this time, Mayor.
This public hearing for needs assessment.
That'll be Ms. Bridget Thornton.
Good evening, everyone. As a part of the CDBG grant that we will be applying for in the month of September, we have to do 2 hearings this month. We're doing a public hearing for needs assessment, and we have a follow-up hearing next month. As soon as we have that council meeting in August, that Friday, we have to submit the initial application to let them know that we want to apply for the CDBG grant. So at this point, I just want to open it up for any of the, well, first let me back up. We have 2 of the Dillon County Downtown Development Committee members here. And the action plans that I handed out to you all earlier, that's one of the projects that we have been working on. This action plan will be updated annually, so it's for the fiscal year starting now, the month of July. This is what we hope to start achieving this year. Stephanie's going to talk about that in just a few minutes, and if y'all have any questions after she speaks, then I'll try to fill in any voice for you. But first, I want to go through this public hearing. If y'all would just bear with me, there are 10 items here that we need to go through and see if we have any public comment on. So the first item up is local sidewalks, streets, and roads. And the question that we asked on the survey for this was, are our streetscapes sufficient, or do they need improvement? And if anybody wants to speak on that now, you can speak.
They need improvement.
They need improvement. Okay, so we have going on the record that Ms. Sanjay Wynn is asking that our sidewalks be improved. Okay, number 2 on the item, on the list was water and sewer systems. And we're asking our public, do you feel like our water and our sewer systems are adequate or they need improvement?
According to Glenn in our conversation, right, they're going to get improved with this stormwater feed. I presented him with information, also talked to DDEC, and I've also spoken to the EPA. And we had a meeting last Friday, and I think overall, the suggestion of what they're trying to do is an improvement. But first and foremost, right, there needs to be a step beforehand, before that, and that's about getting those drains clean. I think that needs to be done first and foremost, what they need to look at that.
Third item is our recreational facilities. And the question for that was, are we meeting the needs of the community? And are there plans to improve our existing facilities? Anybody want to comment on that? No comment, moving to number 5. Flood protection, do you feel like our flood protection here in the city of Dillon is adequate or it needs improvement?
Which I think that was Ms. Reed's comments for dealing with number 5 instead of number 2.
Okay. Moving on to number 6 is community development. Are you aware of any strategies for continued improvements throughout our town? And I will speak on that. We have several plans in process that are going to be making improvements in the community development sector, and you should hopefully see some fruit of that within the next year. Number 7 on the list is housing. Do we have enough affordable housing options to support community growth here in the city of Dillon?
No.
Number 8 on the list is lighting, safety, and security. Do you feel safe in your neighborhood and when you are downtown Dillon?
No.
I do.
Who was the no? Okay, Ms.
No. No, not in my way.
And is that for downtown or in your neighborhood?
In my neighborhood.
Neighborhood. Okay, number 9 on the list is economic development in our downtown. What types of businesses would you support on Main Street?
More restaurants, retail businesses, anything to bring in tourist traffic.
And revenue.
And number 10 on the list is workforce development. In your opinion, do we have workforce training opportunities that will support the types of jobs available in our community?
I think so.
So all these will be recorded for our official record that we will submit and with our CDBG grant. We close that part of this hearing at this time. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I'll turn it over to Ms. Stephanie, and she's going to review the action plan.
Okay, Honorable Mayor, council members, I just want to, you have a copy there of the action plan, and I'm just going to briefly summarize it for you. I am Stephanie Mitchell, as she stated, chair of the organization committee, and I own GT's and Docks, which is a boutique downtown. We have a mission on our committee to enhance our quality of life by improving the appearance of Main Street while establishing partnerships to pursue economic evolution and foster a live, work, play culture. You'll hear that verbiage a lot. Priorities for the current fiscal year are to pursue public-private funding to make Main Street more appealing, increase our quality of available, affordable housing, improve pedestrian bike access, and work with business property owners on Main Street to improve their buildings while encouraging positive momentum. Increase safety and security in downtown. Explore business transitions, expansion, and entrepreneurial development of the existing structures in the Main Street area. Use events to attract people to the area that will appeal to all generations and cultures. The Main Street Development Committee holds monthly meetings focusing on training, professional development, expanding funding resources, and reports to the city and council with quarterly updates. We have 4 subcommittee groups within this volunteer committee. The first one is the Main Street Design Committee. They encourage the improvement of the area. Then we have the Organization Committee, which networks to establish multiple participants to implement and fund the program. Then we have the Economic Vitality Committee, who works to improve and increase relationships while recruiting new businesses and mentoring existing ones. Then we have the Promotion Committee, who works to increase excitement about Main Street through a variety of community activities. Our plans for the future of Main Street are mixed-use space, including retail, office, housing, restaurants, professional services, co-working spaces, small business incubator spaces, green spaces, and cutting-edge appropriate use of available resources. We plan to win the support of business owners, building owners, and citizens, as well as the city's leadership team. Building visual unity and connectivity to our major thoroughfares will help increase foot traffic on Main Street, therefore increasing economic vitality as well as variety for citizens, visitors, and tourists. We are constantly seeking funding opportunities through private, grant, and other available resources. Our accomplishments this fiscal year. We became an approved Opportunity Zone destination, and Bridget can speak on that in a minute. We provided facade grants with the committee. We're so appreciative of these things too. Provided facade grants for 9 buildings, I'm pretty sure that's correct, and 2 upfit grants for this past year. We had a new St. Patrick's Day celebration at the fountain. We continued to have great success with Celebrate Main Street. We have summer monthly pop-up music events at the fountain, and I heard the last one was fantastic, even though it rained. We are currently conducting a summer small business workshop series for education of current and prospective entrepreneurs. Our future plans are to apply for funding for a downtown master plan, establish partnerships with local industries to help with downtown projects, continue with the facade and upfit grants. We have a Paint the Town campaign where we help find supplies for those buildings needing paint the most. We create an available building list with square footage noted for prospective new business relocation. We plan to create a marketing campaign for prospective businesses to locate downtown. We would like to create promotional materials for public parking, establish a community calendar to highlight area happenings, and quantify program results for future grants and funding sources. We plan to create a downtown business directory for business recruiting and host pop-ups for retail events for prospective tenants. And I want to say, I had a pop-up 2 weeks ago. The turnout just blew me away. I don't know if people just needed something or it happened on the right night of the week or whatever, but it was phenomenal. So we need to encourage more people downtown to do that. But that's all I have. Do y'all have any questions?
Appreciate y'all's efforts. It's been a long time coming. Thank you for your time.
And Mayor wanted us to speak briefly about the pop-up concerts. We did have one this Friday. We thought we was going to have to call it, and the entertainment said no, the people said no, and they stayed in the rain. So that was this past Friday. We have the second one scheduled for August the 3rd. Any questions?
Thank you. On housing, I got a call this last week from a fellow in Florence about acquiring. He's kind of torn about coming into Dillon. He was a big player in reviving Florence. Citizens report, anything anybody want to bring our attention up there?
I got something I want to ask Glenn, if you don't mind. You said something about the bill not going up until next month. The water bill?
I'm sorry, say again?
The water bill will go up next month?
Well, the bill that comes out at the end of this month, yes.
We'll be taking August bill.
Well, it'll be actually July reading, but yeah, it'll be due in August.
Okay, because my bill I got for June, I guess I paid in July, it's gone up about $5 and change.
That's, yeah, it only could be consumption because the rates hadn't gone up.
And there's no one around my house is using
We
water.
just bring it by tomorrow and we'll look at it and see, but your rates haven't gone up yet.
Okay, I'm just asking
Yeah.
because I looked at it, I'm saying, okay, maybe they raised the rates already. Because I
No,
looked
the
at
rates
the bills and they're like $5 less and some change for
The
the
new
previous
rates,
months.
the new rates wouldn't take effect until the billing of this month because the sanitation and the water rates didn't come effective until July 1st and the sewer will be passed tonight, so.
I'm just asking. I mean,
Bring your bill by tomorrow and we'll look at it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay, moving along, to unfinished business ordinance 1812, which we spoke about the water and sewer rates for 2018-19.
Make a motion.
All in favor? Opposed? New business, none. Council member reports. Mr. Elliott?
Yeah, Glenn, you don't have it on the agenda, but I thought we were gonna talk about the upbeat grant. One of the participants got awarded grants on the receipt, $15,000.
What did that one get? Was it 15, I think? I mean, he was,
So my question is this, Mr. Hudgens won't be allowed to try to apply for another 15.
that is correct.
We don't have to-
Anybody that got the upfit grant this past year and anybody that got the facade grant this past year are not eligible to apply for those grants this year. Now, someone who got a facade grant could apply for an upfit grant, but they couldn't apply for the same grant.
And then we also talk about them trying to sell the property.
Yeah, we're working on some new wording in the application, and the goal is to have that done by the end of this week, advertise, get it out to them, have it back to us, an application completely filled out 1st of August, give it to the Bar of Architectural Review in their meeting in August, and then they have to turn this back in to us to be brought back to council in September. So then that gives them September to June of next year instead of December to June of next year to get things done.
Chief Lane, can we do like we did with, we had another promotion in the police department. Can we advertise that in the Dillon Herald Melvin League?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Make sure that gets out to the community.
Yep, sure will.
Also, when we had our workshop, our budget workshop, how much of a downfall do we have, a shortfall in the budget? Because I'm looking at some of the things, some of the line items that are in here now. We didn't have like the, we talked about the court fines, we ended up getting almost $60,000. And the property tax came into the surplus.
If you go to the third page from the last, if you look, and these are not, these are not concrete numbers because there'll be adjustments made between now and the audit, and then the audit will be the actual numbers. But if you look on the third to the last page, we brought in revenue in the general fund $6.4 million. You see that? Our expenses at that same time were $6.2 million. So roughly, we're on the good of $264,000 as of right now.
Okay.
I mean, that can change once the audit's done, moving stuff here and there, but
But we're $264,000 to the good.
as of right now.
Right.
Yes. But now, you know, like I said, once the audit comes out, it may be higher, it may be less.
Okay.
Is it factored in depreciation?
Well, this general fund, you don't have
It's
that.
just cash flow.
That's correct.
Checks and balances.
Yeah. And then on the same side of that with water and sewer, if you look at that account, and that should be third page from the back.
They're taking back another,
Our revenues in water and sewer was, and I'm not rolling, $3.9 million. Our expenses were 3.2, so about 700,000 there, but that's not depreciation involved in that. So, you know, that's gonna change, we do know that one.
But we're gonna have a surplus in the budget.
And general fund should.
Also, also, did our firemen get their new radios?
Not yet, no.
Have they been ordered?
They were given a PO today to get his stuff ordered yet.
All right, that's all.
I don't have anything really tonight other than to say I know it's not something that Bridget was there, something the rally sponsored today was Pop-Up Farmers Market. And that's a really nice event downtown. I wish we could do that more often through the summer. We need to get more people to that. They have really good vendors there, and it's a great event. Highly encourage people to go to that.
David, I appreciate your fellows out there with bringing nuts at your festival tonight. And Bert, I'm going to meet with you sometime this week. Greg, I need to ask you a question on those problems we were talking about tonight. The managed grace and there's some kind of grant that's out there that we might get for that stuff.
With the demolition,
Yeah.
okay, with any of the demolition, the city will need to own the property. So if the city owns that property, then that can be demolished under the CDBG program. The one that we talked about down there, I think y'all already have received a Brownsfield grant for that to clean it up the first time. Okay, so I don't know about the timing on that one, but I think that's another one that we should be able to take through CDBG. But for any property that we want to demolish or do anything to, the city has to own.
That's all right.
David, I'm gonna be getting with you. I was at my office this weekend. I called Glenn on it. The contractors at Amtrak stopped me, complaining. Of course, they don't blame per se. They don't live here. They just brought something to my attention, which I knew. We got 2 now, sometimes 3 people sleeping under the Amtrak at the door of the bathroom on the benches all night. And he goes, "Why you guys let that happen?" I said, "Well, it's up to the railroad to contact us if we want us to keep it under surveillance and stuff." And I'm gonna go see that roadmaster tomorrow. But
I've had some communications through email with them, and I asked them to give us jurisdiction over there, and they sent a letter back. They did not, they kind of skirted around it. They wouldn't give us jurisdiction, but they asked us to patrol the property more. And I just told him that if he sees someone, to just call us and we'll go.
it's kind of conflicting on, as far as what you guys can and can't do then. I'll go see what they want us to do, because it's just a bad look, getting on and off the train. Generally, they're gone by then. And I talked to 1 or 2 of them and asked them 4 months ago. I got somewhere to go. I've gone to them in the winter months. They will carry you to a warm place in the jail. When you do, they scamper away. It's just not a good look there. They trash it up. They trash the bathrooms up. Just awful. But I'll see what they want us to do as far as an appearance on the center of our main street, where a lot of people get on and off on the Amtrak. I mean, if they're happy with it, that's fine. I'm not. But he brought it to my attention, and I agreed with it. So we'll see what they want that look, that's fine.
Well, occasionally we don't have much money in our transient fund, but we have a little bit. We can kind of help people along and get them to a different city. So that is an option.
Well, Junebug ain't going there.
Yeah, some of them are all here. We handle them on the lock and court pretty good. Some said they're really doing some awful things in there, and because we own them. But I'll talk to, I think his name's James. That's the deal. I don't have anything.
executive schedule.
Make the motion. All right, all in favor? Thank y'all for coming, Steve.